So, Kalispera again. So, I will take it where I left it. So, we were saying that if we take a look to the past, to how radiation therapy was 40, 50 years ago, we had a real manual approach with not a lot of variables, not MLCs, no patient-specific QA. Luckily, this changed over the years. So thanks of computer technology and thanks to advances that we had, we were able to move from introduction of MLCs, image guidance, till nowadays with artificial intelligence that it's breaking everywhere and it's allowing us to new techniques as adaptive and to improve the patient care. But when we introduce any new technology, we always have to keep in mind that there is some risk and potential problems that might arise. And we have the challenge, to solve them. And as providers, we need to provide the right solutions in order to consider them. So as we were saying, the process have to be all together, but we have to think what can be possibly wrong. There are a lot of cases in the community where, because, for example, in this case, due to a single source of error in a clinic, more than 1,000 patients were affected with a systematic underdosage. And this is something that, because of the lack of use the proper tools, we are having this situation. But there are a lot of scenarios where software is here to help. Software is here to fill the needs in order to improve the workflow. So for example, this is a study from one of our customers where they introduced visual care paths in ARIA, so a really powerful tool. So they were able, in this study that they did for 1 year and over 600 patients, to increase the productivity of 40%. So this is huge. Also important to say that this improved the workflow not only in the ARIA side, also in the treatment planning workflow, having an additional efficiency of 24% in the process. And most important, they were able to decrease the near misses of errors that they were having in the process. So you can see how during this year, they improve the way that they treat the patient. And this was because they start to trust in software. They start to trust in products as ARIA and the integration and all these additional tools. So at the end, manual steps we know that are introducing a higher likelihood of errors. So that means that, for example, for the treatment planning process, there are a lot of reports that we saw that it's bringing a lot of potential misses and also potential safety incidents. So we have this first study for pediatric radiation treatments where they conclude that 30% of the issues that they have with the treatment of the patients were coming for treatment planning. So that's why it's important to have the proper tools and have the proper TPS systems. Also, another report showed that 68% of the issues that they have during the patient QA was coming for a not properly use of the treatment planning system. And at the end, all these manual steps are bringing 65% of the potential errors that we have in radiation therapy. So all those human behaviors, communication issues, and procedural issues are making that the process is not as safe as we need. That's why we need a system as Eclipse and all the features that it's bringing in order to fill this gap. And a lot of people think that when we have the treatment plan, all the possible source of errors are done, and this is not right. This study done from one of our customers, they introduced simulated errors in the review process over 9 weeks. So they saw that having this 60 minutes review per week with 45 cases per review, meaning 80 seconds per patient, they were able to detect more than 50% of those simulated errors that they introduced. This is the importance of the peer review, and moreover, they saw that most of the errors were detected at the beginning of this review. So that's why we need to provide tools to make easier this review, as for example, with our brand new EP review tool that it's helping in all this process with our software development. And last but not least, in the new techniques that we introduce, it's also true that we need to provide additional tools in order to improve the care of the patient. So as Mateo already saw, in this case, we have this customer where they were analyzing the evolution of the treatment of the patient with the CBCT images, and they realized that there was a problem in some sessions where they exceed the institutional standard for the dose for some organs at risk, and it happened during all the treatment in different sessions. So because of a lack of tools and a lack of communication between the department, they were not able to react. So that's why the combination of Mobius as trigger for the adaptive therapy, offline adaptive therapy, and the combination of velocity with Eclipse in order to consider all the process from the online matching, the CVCT acquisition, dose deformation, and at the end, considering all these effects of the patient anatomy into the treatment, it's really important to have it in the workflow. But focusing again in what we need and what we are aiming, we have to always keep in mind that the idea, what we want, is to deliver the right dose into the right target every time for every single patient. So we have to shift to demand the highest precision possible, the highest quality for our patient, and of course, to keep the safety in all this process. And for Varian, this is something that will be achieved thanks to additional automation tools, thanks to the integration that we are providing in all our workflow, and of course, bringing additional efficiency into the workflow of the customers. Because it's well known the benefits of automation and integration. So the situation where we don't need to import or export any data, the not need to move information between different professionals talking, all this is bringing additional warranty of data integrity. Means that at the end, all these transcriptional human interactions, it's bringing a potential source of error and a reduction of the safety in all the process of the patient, of the treatment of the patient. Also, all this automation integration is bringing additional consistency in the process of the treatment of the patient. So thanks to the software and thanks to the tools that we provide, it is possible to accelerate and standardize the care of the patient. So we are able to consider all these clinical guidelines and all these clinical needs in order to have a more consistent workflow. And last but not least, we realized that with the introduction of new techniques, new machines, new capabilities, we are taking time from the user, from the end user, from the clinician. So this is also something that Varian is really keen to provide time saving for the clinicians, and then for them to be able to better take care of the patient, to have additional time to treat the patient, and at the end, be able to focus on what really matters, that is the patient. So going back to the first slide, as we say, now hardware and software are going together in order to provide the best treatment of the patient. And it's also a fact that nowadays, oncology care is a data-driven process, and we cannot understand the treatment of the patient without tools such as an area, that it's combining the information of the patient and the imaging handling. Also, of course, tools like Nuna, that is capturing really efficiently the patient outcomes, that we will heard about it in the last talk. Tools like Eclipse, that you already know, most of you, how important it is and how important are the new tools that we are adding into the system. And the latest advances like Mobius or Velocity that was already introduced, and that it's filling this gap in the patient QA, saving some time for the QA process and bringing additional tools for really challenging processes like adaptive. And at the end, the software is the glue that put everything together. So we have this feeling, we have this belief, and it's important also to keep in mind that Varian is the only provider that is able to give solutions in all the steps in the radiation therapy process in order to achieve this outcome. And of course, the commitment of Varian is to bring the additional pieces that are needed into the evolution of the radiation therapy and evolve together with the customers in order to provide the best care for the patients. And focusing a bit more in the treatment planning process, again, our commitment is to take all the steps in all the process of this design of the patient and provide tools and solutions in order to improve the patient care. Everything, of course, put together in Eclipse as the backbone of the system with our integrated solution. And at the end, be able to provide this treatment planning suite, improving the automation and efficiency of all of the processes, and bringing tools such as Velocity for the imaging handling data, EP review for collaboration between the different clinicians, really important nowadays, artificial intelligence segmentation for the contouring, rapid plan that you already saw in the last talk, how important it is the introduction of rapid plan in the optimization process, HyperArc for SRS class solution in the clinic, trade-off exploration to tweak the patients, tweak the plans that we are going to provide, a scripting that it's putting all together in order to make all the work more efficient, together with fast calculation with GPU acceleration. Of course, I'm not able to go deeper in all these products. Feel free to reach us if you have any additional question. And at the end, the goal is to elevate the patient care and arrive to our vision that it's a world without fear of cancer. So, thank you.